Hey, as you can see by the title, we'll talk about George Floyd for a minute. Someone's asked me about, since we had a lot of stuff going on about George Floyd the year that he died. Some say murdered, some say he also, I guess, was under the influence of fentanyl. Fentanyl, I guess, at the time, and maybe some other drugs. I don't know. I'm trying to get this thing lined up. But I don't know about that. And they said, well, David, you may have survived if you weren't on drugs. Well, I was also an overweight diabetic 5 years ago. Maybe I would have died from that. We need to be able to breathe in air on our neck, through our, it goes to our nose, our mouth, and then down into our lungs so we can survive. So yeah, I definitely would need oxygen. I believe you probably would too. We had a lot of protest here in the Southern California area, even in Monrovia. They met at the, we don't have a really big area on our city hall, but we do have this really pretty park where we have our library, and they met there and they were holding up Black Lives Matter. You know, we're with you, George Floyd. They were showing George Floyd with angel wings. The angel wings almost kind of look like, I don't know, fairy wings or butterfly wings, but they were putting these posters up and all this stuff about George Floyd. And he was no longer with us, not from here. We didn't have violence, really, I don't think. I don't see anything like that. During the Rodney King situation, I was in Texas. I'm from here. I saw Rodney King at the AM, PM getting gasoline for his vehicle. Well, I was getting gasoline for mine. I was facing like this way, and he was going this way, and the gas pumps were between us, and I said hello to him. He said hello to me. We pumped our gas, and that's it. I can't remember his age, but I was in Texas when the riots happened here. Back then they called them riots. Now they call them something, civil unrest or civil. They said that what we had out here was just a protest. But everyone here basically thinks we had riots. There was a lot of looting going on. But even in Monrovia, we had people holding up the BLM signs and Black Lives Matter. Rest in paradise, Floyd, George Floyd, you're a hero, and all that. So a lot of that was going on then. Now this time we're hearing a little bit on the radio. They're probably, I think maybe because it falls on a Sunday before Memorial Day, maybe some of the churches had some services about this, but no outdoor demonstrations or anything going on around here. Usually they go to like the Pasadena City Hall, the LA City Hall, the federal building. They'll go to the courthouses and stuff like that, and they'll protest. And of course they protest the police. We had the defund the police thing. A friend of mine lives in Compton area, and he said all the defund the police did was increase crime. He is a black man, I'm a white man, and that's what he came up with. He said, I believe that the defund the police caused nothing but more crime in our area. Because where are they going to take the police out of? The areas that are considered bad, the black area, the minority-filled neighborhoods, and he said crime went up. He lives there. I think he knows. He was not in favor of defunding the police. Really, he said we need more police. We need maybe better police. Maybe we need a larger quantity and a better quality of police in the area. We've had issues here. We've had to remember her name and all that from other people. Now, the Black Lives Matter, and a lot of investigations. There's been a lot of money missing. I think one person with the organization stole $10 million. Some of them are building houses for themselves. And those that were the victims, the families of the victims, or some of them were victims that didn't die, they were still alive, they haven't received any of the money. The money went elsewhere. There's a lot of fraud and charity. I work in pet rescue, and I keep telling the people that work for me, if you steal 10 cents, it can ruin us. If someone else, if another pet rescue steals money, a lot of times what they'll do is they'll say they're spending the money on this and this and this, and they're spending it on themselves. Some of the smaller rescues, sadly, they have to rely on foster people. Not sadly, it's great that people come out to help, but they put animals into different people's homes on a foster situation while they try to find full-time homes, and a lot of times people will misappropriate some funds, and if one person misappropriates funds, it gets into the media system, the media world. It's really hard enough. So people say, how do we know we're not going to steal the money? And I always, you don't. How do I know that $5 bill you just tossed in the jug is not counterfeit? I just have to trust you, and hopefully you can trust me. And I don't know what to say to that. I cannot guarantee all charities are good. I can guarantee this. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share. What are your comments about the George Floyd thing? They say BLM. A lot of the black people said that it's a dishonest organization. They put forth a bunch of white guilt. You David, you had slaves. I don't think I did. And give us money. Give money because you were mean to black people. And I don't really know that many illustrations or any illustration where I really did anything like that. When I hired people at my restaurants, I would hire whoever came to the door that I thought was good. I picked the best candidate. And I've had African American people working with me, Hispanic people, Asians, the whole rainbow, or whatever it is. I've had gay people that were openly gay, people work for me. So I just hired who I thought would be best at cutting open some bread and putting some meat and some cheese and some lettuce and some tomatoes and some oil and vinegar and some and hand out a sandwich or make a pizza and put some sauce and some cheese and I hired the best person I thought could do that. And if they weren't the best when they got there, I'd hopefully I could work with them and make them the best, make them the best they could possibly be. BLM, they say it stands for burn, loot, and murder. My friend who does live down in Compton, a lot of looting, he said. A lot of looting went on in the name of George Floyd. How did that help George Floyd? I don't know. How did it help his family? I don't know. But a lot of stuff out there in the George Floyd story doesn't really make any sense. A lot of people say he had a heart of gold and never did anything wrong. But then you look at his rap sheet, 4 years in prison, armed robberies, drugs. He was caught with a counterfeit bill. That started that whole thing. And some people said he had the heart of gold. His brother said he saw George sit down on the ground and tie a homeless man's shoes for him as if he was the president. Highly doubtful that ever happened. I go on a limb. I've never sat down and tied homeless people's shoes. Have you? I don't think you have either. I don't think he did. So he said the heart of gold. He cared for his family. He supported his family. And they said now, of course, now a lot of unpaid, I guess, child support and maybe even had some children that he didn't care for at all, didn't take care of for those kids at all. But it does not matter. He can have a heart of gold or a heart of stone. He could have robbed that. He could have got down and sat down and took the homeless man's cup full of coins and put them in his pocket. He could have tied his shoes. It doesn't matter. Fentanyl, now if he did have drugs in the system, that does kind of matter about the outcome of what happened that day. 9 minutes with someone's knee on your neck, no, that's not good. But he was probably not a great guy. I'll go out there and put it out there. I don't think I look at his rap sheet and the things he's done, his police record. I don't really think he's a good guy. Doesn't matter. Good guy, bad guy. If somebody killed him, or if he contributed to his own death, you eat too many candy bars, you're contributing to your own death. Smoke too many cigarettes. But I don't think he was a good guy. No. Do I think he should have been murdered? No. You don't have to be a good guy to not be murdered. If it was murder, he's a dead person now. He was alive on the 24th, I guess, and dead on the 25th. That's all we need to know. Alive on the 24th, dead on the 25th. Today is George Floyd Day. Today's the 25th. Are you doing anything in the remembrance? Are you observing the 25th of May as George Floyd Day? Do you think the police officers were guilty of murder? They said they used tactics that used to be used. Well, a lot of tactics used to be used. So that's a hard excuse. If you go and you shoplift a little package of 8 donuts, Hostess donuts, and a police officer comes by with a lasso and lassos you while riding his horse and pulls you up and ties you off on the horn and drags you off to jail. That's an old tactic. They can't do that anymore. You steal a horse, they don't kill you. There used to be the death penalty because they said that the farmer, the cowboy, the person they needed that animal. They need that animal, so that's why but now if you need your car to drive your kids to school, we don't put that person to death if they steal it. Some countries maybe, but I'm talking the United States only. But what do you think? I don't believe that the tactics they used were correct. I worked in law enforcement. They didn't teach us that tactic. They taught us different holds and like come alongs where you pinch and you do this and cuff them up, hands on your head, interlock your fingers, put it in your head, back up, in the military, when we would pat somebody down, someone would hold a rifle on the guy, and you pat down one side, then you go switch, and you lift it up, switch, and then you hold a rifle on the other guy's side, on his side, on his other side, while being patted down. If he darts and he's been in the restricted area, then you would actually be authorized sometimes to use deadly force. So yeah, we would cover and all that. A lot of different stuff. We have restraints. Shoot them with some form of a taser. We have pepper spray, bean bags. We have rubber bullets. This sting, I'm sure. A lot of things that could have put it on. I mean, they could have sprayed him. I don't know. I wasn't there. Like they said, the cop gets that much time to figure out what to do, and we have years and years afterwards to discuss it. So I don't know. But George Floyd does not have to be a good guy to deserve the right not to be murdered. If it was murder, was it excessive force use? If it wasn't murder, was it excessive force? Probably. Were the drugs in his system? I believe they probably were. A lot of people say they're lying. There were no drugs in his system. But even if there were drugs in his system, if he was high as a kite, if he somebody said, well, he was going to die anyhow. He was overdosing. Well, if he is overdosing, then maybe Narcan in the nose, not knee on the neck. I don't know. But today is not a happy George Floyd day. Like tomorrow is going to be Memorial Day. You'll be seeing this if you're watching this. Today is Sunday, but you'll probably be seeing this tomorrow. So this is kind of how you observed George Floyd Day. What are you doing for Memorial Day, which is today? Are you going to go watch some planes fly over? Are you going to maybe sign a petition or make a donation, make a day of work for those that have felt? We can't do anything about those that are already gone, but maybe we can do something for their legacy. I don't know. Maybe you can go to church, pray for those, the families of those who've passed. Some recent, when I first joined the military, we weren't. It was peacetime, and then by the time we got out, we'd had a few war type situations, war type situations, and people are now, once again, we are losing people in battle. Remember Kamala and Jomala, whatever, we always put the names together, like Benifer and all that. But those two were saying no one died on their. We knew that wasn't true. You knew that wasn't true. They knew. Like, yes, they knew. They said old Sleepy Joe didn't know much, but yeah. So this is a moment to maybe look back on. Have there been improvements in the last 5 years? Are we doing better? Maybe, I don't know. Have I ever been a victim of police brutality? No. My friends that are black, no, not one of them said, "Oh yeah, that happened to me too." But me, no. Did I ever knowingly pass counterfeit $20 bills? No. Did I ingest fentanyl? No. Meth? No. So a lot of factors going on there. Were the police right? I don't think so. Were all those officers bad? How many? It was like 5 or 6 that were there while this was all going on. I can't remember. 9 minutes. I said it took 9 minutes. A lot of times, okay, get off of him. There was a case where a female officer had told a male sergeant, she was a new recruit, newly assigned, and her training officer was using excessive force, and she told him not to, and he punched her. That happened after that. So maybe there are some eyes. We have the body cams, the dash cams, and people are looking out. People can film with their cameras. A lot of things have changed just because of the camera. Like right now, I'm filming this on my phone. The phone used to be, or yeah, hello Sarah, give me Floyd's barbershop. Technology changes, but that tactic of the knee on the neck, I don't really think that was authorized. I think they used unauthorized excessive force. Was Floyd a good guy? I don't think so. Maybe you do. Maybe I don't really know him. From what I know, from what I read, from what I hear, I don't see him being a good person. Should he be a dead person? Probably not. Would he? Someone said, well, he would have been probably killed in the streets anyhow. Later on, well, that's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think? George Floyd, 10 years ago, May 25th, 2020, he was alive part of the day and dead the rest. So, what are your thoughts on that? I haven't seen a single remembrance. No one in the park holding signs. we do have the protests out here. We are getting a lot of protests. I filmed it. If you go back that way, you'll see the kill the Jews, free Palestine, kill the Jews, from the river to the sea, and all that kind of stuff. We have some of those protests on Lake Street in Pasadena, California, between Cordova and California. It's about about a 3-block area this way, and they're holding signs asking people to honk their horns. It's like down with Israel, honk your horn. Then the next one, free Palestine, honk your horn. I didn't hear any horns honking. It didn't sound like New York at rush hour. No. If a horn honked, it did. I don't know. I was there about 25 minutes, didn't hear horns honking. But yeah, we do have protests. So I think I've driven around enough today. I didn't go to the Pasadena City Hall. I can watch on the news. Was there any freeway closures? When I was talking about the impact on this on me, it was during COVID, and I was considered an essential worker because I delivered food, and I had to wear gloves, and I had to wear a mask, and I could take it and had to leave it at the door. So when we first got the leave it at the door permission, the people would come out. I'd actually walk up to people's houses, and across the street I see someone with a hose spraying their order with a hose hooked to the house with water, spraying their grocery order that was just dropped off. So it was a different time. But then when that happened, the riot started. I actually, there's curfews. We couldn't go out. And then they started allowing us, just us to go out. You'd be driving. First, there's no one around because of COVID. And then you drive around because but I could drive and I could see fires in the distance. So I would avoid those areas. There's certain areas that were blocked off on the curfew. The app was set so it wouldn't give you an order where you either had to pick up in that area or drop off. Usually everything basically closed. So I wasn't going to get an order for the hot dog hut in Compton, California, or any of those, Inglewood, certain areas which there was a lot of activity. Then they would close the freeways. I had one where they closed the freeway, and I was there. They closed the streets coming off the freeway. I came off the freeway. Oh, it's closed. And then one guy was like, we made eye contact. And I said, like, hey, how you doing? Like that. I wasn't going anywhere, so he told me to roll down my window. And oh God, here we go. Did I have my gun with me? No. I did have a knife. Well, I had a knife, but it's not gonna do that good. It's 600 to 1. Even if I had a gun, I'd have to be like a scatter situation, like bang, 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 bang. Hopefully everybody would scatter. But it was just him and I. And he goes, hey, I see you got an Air Force ticket. I was at Air Force. My daughter was stationed in Okinawa. I said, oh wow, thank her for her service for me. Well, yeah, were you also in the military? So I was in the Air Force as well. And I asked him what he did. He was a security policeman. I taught them a lot because I worked as a combat arms instructor. We had a little conversation. We met a common core, and he walked my car out. He said, back up, y'all, back up. And he let me get through, and away I went. Did I go back out that day? No, because it could have been a pull out. It could have been a pull this white guy out of the car kind of a situation. I don't see anybody getting pulled out. I saw them banging on cars. They didn't bang on my car. I think it's because right when I pulled off and stopped, he just happened to be there. Guardian angel? I don't know. George Floyd Day? Yes, it is George Floyd Day. Your thoughts? Should we observe this occurrence? Should we make improvements? I think we should definitely make improvements. I think it's unfortunate to his family that he's gone. That's my thoughts. And I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? Take care.